see me? Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to start then. And you can hear me? Testing, testing, audio, testing. I don't want to stay idle for too long. I'll just bring the mic a little closer. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Does that sound better? My gain is all the way up. Weird. Which I guess is fine. I'm not going to be too worried about that if it is working on the Drumming for All one. Because I do want to get started in case anybody jumps in. Oh yeah, you can hear it, right? Right. Yeah, I mean, here, it says view on Facebook. All right, let's leave figuring that one out for another day because at least all the other ones are working. And I'll get started. Does that sound good? Okay, so keep an eye on it, and I'll get started here, and I'll let you go. All right, bye. Hello, everybody. Or nobody just yet. Just me and David. All right, so for the August 21st live stream, Attack Drumheads, in cooperation with SALUDA Cymbals, you know how much I love SALUDA, has sent me new drum heads for my entire kit. This box seems heavy enough that most likely this does have all the heads. I wasn't sure if they had found all the heads that I had requested, but I did speak to Attack directly and was able to figure out exactly the heads that I wanted. So I'm super excited to open this up here. I'm going to do this knifeless. So let's pop this open. Again, the live stream will be August 21st. I'm going to play for 12 hours straight. And we are going to raise money for the Drumming for All program for 2023. Come on, baby. Should have brought a knife, but no need. All right. Yeah, baby. Oh. Nothing like an unboxing. So if you go to Guitar Center or jump on Sweetwater's website, or if you go on any music store, Sandmash, whatever, you will almost never see Attack Drumheads. You see your Evans, you see your Remo or whatever, but Attack is just as good, if not better. For example, I literally spoke on the phone with them. I just called and somebody answered and immediately started answering all my questions. You're not going to get that from Evans. And like I said, I was able to get half an hour on the phone with them and telling them specifically what kind of sounds I wanted, what I was looking for. This is like a quote-unquote metal setup, which, by the way, you'll see has no ride right now because I sent that off to SALUDA. I'm trading it out, so I'm rideless right now. But this is more of like a metal setup with the two 22-inch kicks and all the toms and everything, the China. Like I do like to play heavier stuff, but I, of course, am constantly playing softer stuff. So these two rack toms, I like to play. I like to go even like Latin with these, and so I want these to be higher pitched and not metal at all. Whereas my 16-inch floor tom, I do tend to want really thumpy and really have like a nice deep low end, almost even bass drum-esque for that metal stuff. So I'm sitting here talking to the gentleman at Attack and telling him all these ideas I have for the different sounds I want, and he was very helpful, and this is what they sent me. And they did also send all of these as a donation to the Drumming for All program, so huge shout out to Attack Drums for that. So we're just going to pull them all out. This does look like all of them, so 16, 14, 14, 12, 10, 8. So this is all of them. Beautiful packaging too. Not that that necessarily matters, but they're putting the drum heads inside a nice solid box. Let's get rid of this. I'm also going to be tuning these up. I'm going to fiddle with them over the next couple weeks, obviously leading up to August 21st for the live stream. But for now, I'm going to be tuning them up. I am going to use the tune bot. I almost said drum dial, but it's not a drum dial. I've never owned a drum dial. Got the tune bot. I'm not a pro with the tune bot, but I do have a lot of fun with it. If you've never used a tune bot, DM me. And I can walk you through the steps. There's great videos out there, but it is kind of a tricky thing. So you'll see me fiddling around with these. I'm going to rehead the whole kit right now. Fiddle around with the tune bot, try to get some good tunings, but then as time goes on leading up to the 21st, that's when I'll really make sure that the kit is dialed in. So we are going to start with the floor tom. We're going to start with the 16. I'm guessing that's this one. And the reason we're starting with the 16 is because when you are tuning your drum heads, if you're just gonna tune one head, then have at it. That tends to work fine if you're just hearing a little issue with one drum head. But if you want to tune all the heads, you have to start with the floor tom and then you tune up. Because if you tune your high tom and it sounds perfect, and then you try to tune downward from there, when you get to the floor tom, the tone you're looking for to match the rack toms might be too low, and so you're going to get the wrinkle and you're not going to get the full sound that you want. So you start with the floor tom, put that at the perfect sound that you want, and then go up from there. So we always start with the floor tom, the 16-inch. That's this guy. Not that it always matters, but I always do this. Sometimes I feel like I can get a sense of what the tom's going to sound like before I even head it. Sometimes it's not the case, but the fact that it's really thumpy, right? Really thumpy, really flat, tells me that this is going to be a warm, deep tone. This is a 2-ply. Obviously, I don't want the floor tom ringing out too much. I want it super thuddy. Again, this is all things that I was on the phone with Attack Drumheads, actually asking them about and talking to them about, which is all the more reason for you guys to consider using them. I told them with my high toms, I want them to ring. I want the high toms to sing. I don't want them to be muted. They're not going to be low tunings. They're going to be high tunings, so I really want them to sing, so those would be 1-ply heads. If you don't know anything about 1-plies and 2-plies and you have questions about that, obviously DM me. First lesson is free. So for the floor tom, for both floor toms, I want 2-plies. because I want it to be thuddy. Okay, so I'm gonna start making a mess here in my studio soon if I'm not careful. And I also have this big blanket here because when you are tuning with the TuneBot, you want, I'll show you here obviously with all these drums, but you want one head to be totally muted. So you lay it down on the blanket, and that way one head is totally muted, and then you tune the other head. Okay, so here's our 16. Let's bring this guy over. I'm gonna take the ring. If I can get all these drums to sound the way I want without the rings, these are the Evans rings, then I will be thrilled, but I do tend to trust in these pretty heavily. So for example, that's nice and thuddy and deep, but it's got that ring. If I put this on there, it kills that ring. I love that. I really like killing that overtone. But if I can get the sound I want without this, then I won't use it. When you see guys with tape all over the drum heads, it's because they know that they're not getting the sound they want with just the drum head. So often drummers use these other things. You know, if I have to do that, I will. All right. So, and again, this like stock Mapex head, this is what I've had on there for a while because I guess I don't play this 16 all that much. But I'm more than happy to put an attack head on here and get that perfect sound that I wanted. Where's my good key? All right. So, when you are down tuning to rehead the drum, I still like to be careful about crisscrossing, as you can see. I know some drummers will, if they're taking off a drum head that they're not going to use, they'll just, you know, crank it all the way down on one lug and then go to the next. I really don't like doing that, even if, because you know, this is still a good head. This is still going to work. God forbid I blow out one of my new attack heads during the live stream. I'm going to just grab one of these and replace it. So there's definitely nothing wrong with keeping your old heads in good shape, even if you think you might not use them again. If you've never taken off a drum head, you will be witnessing that. You never want to take the tension rods off because you'll just lose them. They'll just fall into a vacuum and disappear forever. And what I like to do is once all the tension rods are off, you leave this like this. Let me show you this trick. My throne is definitely in the way. Where can I do this? I'll do this right here. So, I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. You take this. I don't know if you can see the floor right here. You take it and you twist it as you're putting it down, and all the tension rods lock in place. Take this off. Put the new guy on. Oh, and let's be real anal about it. This is going to be sitting facing me like this, so we want it like that. While I'm in here, get all the dust and everything off of here. Put my head on. Pretty much seated good. It's a little wobbly, so I'll just be careful as I'm putting my hoop back on. If you have a really old drum set, then I recommend making sure the same tension rod goes into the same lug. But this is a newer kit, and it's in a temperature controlled room, so it's not a problem. Gotta go finger tight. Really gently go finger tight all the way around. The reason why I mentioned that if it's an older drum, you want the same lug to go in the same hoop, in the same lug, I mean, is because if the drum has gotten warped over time for any reason, then I've just noticed that sometimes the tension rods don't go in any other lug but that first one. All right, so I'm gonna go finger tight on these now, as tight as I can go. As you can see, I'm still going around. I swear by the crisscross pattern. Good. And now, you go in there, you stretch it out. You always want to stretch out your drum head. You're going to stretch it while you're playing it, of course. And you just want it to be a little bit stretched on each lug, not too hard. And even though I just did finger tight on all these, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to be able to tighten them even more. Okay. Obviously it's still, you know, flat sounding because finger tight is not enough for a floor tom, but it's close. This is not going to need much more. This is not going to need much more at all. All right, so maybe I'll collect my old heads back here. So now it's time to use the tune bot. We take the bottom legs off. Where is it? Again, you don't need a tune bot to tune, but they're very fun to fiddle around with. So my legs are off. If I'm tuning this head, then I want the blanket muting the bottom head. So I'm going to put my big thick blanket. I like to ruffle it all up like this so it's making full contact. And now I'm just getting the vibration off the top head here. Let's get this guy out of the way. All right, take our tune bot, turn it on. Clip it on. This is an advertisement for TuneBot as well. They're not paying me for it, but all right. So go around about an inch away from each lug. You get your reading. That one's weird. What am I getting in the middle? 118, 107. So I'm going to try to get these up to like around 120. The tricky thing about the tune bot is that every time you tighten one lug, it affects all of them. So you want to be really careful as you go to try to reach your number. My goal is 120 hertz. Just happened to have some luck with that number in the past for my floor tom. That one's real loose. little by little, you start to bring them up. That is a thud if I have ever heard one. I want to crank it up a little bit higher. But again, we want the blanket on the bottom making full contact with the bottom head to kill that sound, to kill that bounce. You don't want the bottom head vibrating because it's going to throw off the information. I also go by the sound. Boom. You can use the sound to give you. There we go. All right, let's leg this up. I'm not sure if anybody is watching, but if you have any questions about drum lessons or the Drumming for All program or the live stream on August 21st, do see a little wrinkle here and I want to get it out, but I don't want to mess with my sound too much. Ugh. Dude, that is dirty. Wait, let's ring it. This might, I might not want this on there. Sounds just as good without it. It does have that ring. That's why a lot of drummers put something on their head, because they just want to kill that little bit of ring. Ugh. That's why I hate these. They get dirty. All right. Still seeing a little wrinkle there. Again, these have to get broken in. So you need the playing time on them to break them in, stretch them out. Let's put this bad boy on. Screaming. Let's do some jamming here with our forks on. does need to go up a bit. Where did I leave my key? Does need to come up a bit. I'm just going to squeeze them all up a hair. Again, this is going to detune itself because it's a new head, so you want to fiddle with it. Yeah. This is what I like on a floor tom. It's thuddy. I can't decide if I want the ring on or off. Okay, let's leave that one. Let's move on to the 14. Oh, man. Now this is a fun job. All right, so let's grab our 14. This might be the snare head, the red dot that they sent me. We'll do this one last. We might not even do this on the stream, depending on how much time I have left. Red dot. So that's our snare. So we'll leave this for last. I really want to focus on the toms. Next 14, here we go. And obviously, any questions, send me a message, put it in the comments. We got our 14. So, same thing. Logo's here, so we're going to want this logo up here. Let's take the ring off. Let's put this guy over here. All right. So, like I said before, when I'm down tuning, I still like to follow the crisscross pattern. All the way around. Because this head is still good. This is actually the factory Mapex head. It's got some wear on it. I've obviously been playing it. But this head is still good, and if I blow out my 14-inch attack head, then I can just replace it with this one. And again, we'll use the tune bot. So this is the Pro Flex 2. This is the Tone Ridge 2. So this has that ring on the bottom. Noticeably thuddy. But this is not, this is a little bit more open. Good. So this is going to probably sing a little bit more than that one. While you're in here, get any dust off. Head goes on. Like I said, this should be here. And again, like I said, it doesn't matter necessarily. It's a relatively new drum. It doesn't really matter if you've got, if the same tension rod goes into the same lug, doesn't really matter. But if it's an old drum and it's seen some changes in weather, I've noticed personally, especially if it's like a really old drum, that tension rod is only going to go into into one lug. It's not going to want to go into the other. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but like I said, from experience, I have noticed that. Okay, so we're going to go finger tight all the way around. And I bet you we're already going to get a little bit of a tone out of this. Not much, but a little bit. See? Obviously I still have wrinkles. I really like this because this has a very noticeable ring on the outside. So this has its own, listen to that crackle. It's going to be gentle but firm. We're just going to stretch it out, and like I said before, I'm going to be playing these a lot, gearing up to the live stream on August 21st. So big shout out again to Attack Drumheads for sending the program these drumheads at no cost. You guys rock. I spent a while on the phone with Attack, specifically asking them what their recommendations were for my particular kit. And you won't get that kind of customer service from Evans. So no offense to Evans. I got an Evans there. I got an Evans here. Love the Genera dry snare Evans head, so I'm not bashing anybody, but you call Evans, you're not going to get anybody to actually hang out with you on the phone and help you out. But Attack was very nice. So still got some wrinkles here. I'm going to iron those out, but now it's time to get the legs off. And I actually just want to flip this quick and check the tone on the bottom. Put my tune belt on. I want to check the tone on the bottom. So that's like around, I'm going to say around 150. So I'm probably going to do like around 150. I am no master with the tune bot, like I've said, but the cool thing about the tune bot is that the more you use it, the better you get with it. If you fiddle around with the tune bot enough, you're going to start to discover some things about your drums. Like, for example, I didn't know before the tune bot that I liked my top head and my bottom head tuned to the same frequency. I grew up always thinking that the bottom head had to be tighter, and I was getting, you know, I guess close enough to the sound that I wanted, until I found out that if you tune them both to the same frequency, they're going to be vibrating at the same frequency, and you're going to get a nice big fat round tone. And I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for, you know, YouTube and how to use the tune bot and hints and tips and tricks. So these, so look, I'm getting all in the high 70s. So let's go up. And for this, I'm just going to crank them all up because I know I've got a way to go. 111, 109, 109, 109, 109. Oof. So just another crank all the way around. I'm guessing I'm going to be in the 120s now. 130, 132, 130, 130, 130, 108. Let's see. Bro, it doesn't get any better than that. Not even going to touch it. So the numbers don't match up, but I don't care. I'm going for sound. I want it to sound good. I want my toms to sound good next to each other. The numbers aren't exact, but it doesn't matter. Plus, I'm going to be stretching these out as time goes on anyways, so it really doesn't matter. As long as they're close enough in the hertz and they sound good next to each other, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So now I'm going to releg these. I don't think releg is a term. That's fine. Oh, let me do it this way. Any drummers out there, feel free to tell me how your favorite way of putting your floor tom legs back on. Because sometimes I find myself not comfortably doing this. Yeah, I got some wrinkles there. That's expected. That's beautiful. Let me get this wrinkle out. Whew. I may have messed with it there. Still sounds good. I'm going to leave it. All right. Way too low. Let's get it a little bit higher. This ring here, so I do want to put the ring on it, see what happens. I don't like it because I'm getting bounce off the ring. That could be because of the ring, or because this has its own ring on it. I like it. Love it. This would not be low enough for me if it wasn't for the 16. I don't like that wrinkle. But I'm going to leave it. They're going to stretch out on their own anyways. All right. Next. So, 16, 14, 12. Let's unclip this mic that isn't even on. She comes. So, all right. Ring off. And now life gets easier because we're using the smaller heads. Oh, well, I'll take this out first. Where's my key? Huge, huge, huge shout out to Attack Drums. I can't even believe it. they were willing to send us these heads free of charge to the program. And they are one of our main sponsors for the event. And we are quite grateful because they were willing to send us all new heads for the live stream. Some of these heads, specifically my high toms, because I use the heck out of my high toms, they definitely needed to be changed anyways. And some of these are still the factory heads. The Mapex factory heads actually, you know, they worked out pretty well. But now it's time to move on. Brand new attack heads. Any questions about drum heads? Put it in the notes. Put it in the comment section. I want to see them. Let's check that quick. If I see any comments or any questions, I will answer them. So, keep it going. Funny story, actually. Right before I started this live stream, well, actually, here's the trick. If you don't know this trick, when you take a hoop off, lay it down on the floor or somewhere flat and give it a little twist, and you won't lose your tension rods. You don't want tension rods flying around everywhere. So, get all that. Actually, with these two, you can just tip them over, get all that excess wood out, clean this up. So, funny story, my son, my 5-year-old, ran downstairs not very long before I was about to start this stream, and he was like, "Papa, you got a package in the mail. It's huge. It's a drum." So I'm thinking it's got to be the Golden Goddess ride symbol from SALUDA, which explains this big empty space here, because that's where my ride usually goes. And I'm like, oh my God, perfect timing. It's totally meant to be. It turned out to be the dehydrator that I ordered from Kohl's. So, I was all excited. All right, so this is the, oh, listen how thuddy that is. So Tone Ridge 2. So the Tone Ridge by Attack has this added ring on the inside. And so it's 2-ply, obviously, super thuddy, super just flat and I love it. And again, this doesn't always work, but you can sometimes get a sense of what the drum is going to sound like if you hit the head without putting it on. I've had a lot of luck with it, because sometimes, you know, you can't just buy 20 heads and then go put them all on and see which one you like. You go to the store and you fiddle around with them. You can get a sense of what you want. Love it. So this one is gonna, even though it's not the same style as the 16, I'm getting a sense from this that it's gonna give me a very muted, warm tone. This is my 12, and my 12 and my 16 get a lot of play together. I play my 8, my 10, and my 14 a lot because they're in this corner here. Again, if you look at my setup, I've got my kit split down the middle with my hat right in the middle. So these 3 get a lot of play together, and the 12 and the 16 get a lot of play together. So I'm already happy with what I think this is gonna sound like. All right, let's pop this bad boy on. This is on attached like this, so I don't want my head. Should have done this first, actually. Are you guys, I don't know if anybody's even watching, but if you are, tell me in the comments if you are obsessed with where the logo goes. Sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. Like Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I do. There, so this can go right like that. Perfect. Again, sometimes, like you just saw me just now, I'm like, oh, let me make sure it's in the perfect spot. Sometimes I don't even care. Okay. Pick up your hoop. It's got all the tension rods still attached. And on she goes. I will be using my tune bot to tune this up. I do really, really enjoy the tune bot. Sometimes it totally kicks your butt, but sometimes it makes life very easy. So far with the 14 and the 16, I am thrilled at how these have been coming out. Okay, finger tight. Again, when you start working with the smaller drums, this is so much easier. Just tighten, spin, tighten, spin. Now we stretch. Didn't hear any crackling there, but I did stretch it. I see wrinkles. This is not. Oof. That's like, you know, you can't leave it like that because of the wrinkles, but that's like a floor tom. It's very down to it. All right, let's check the frequency on our bottom. $130, 135-ish, average. Actually, let's keep all these together. So 135-ish. I'm probably gonna want to go up to like a 150 on this one. Let's see. 146. I might want to go higher than that then. Maybe like 160. Maybe not. I forgot that the center tone does not reflect all the lug settings. So, all right, so I'm just going to give them all a crank. Ooh, I'm going counterclockwise right now. I don't like that. I don't know why I did that. Looks like they're all in the 70s for the most part. So let's give them all another crank. Now they're in, I'm guessing they're all going to be in the 90s. The number on the tune bot, the hertz, like the frequency, doesn't always reflect the sound that you're going for. I go by sound. I don't care as much about the number as I do about the sound. In fact, let's give it a quick check here. That's still too low. This is lower than my 14. But I care more about the sound. So I'm going to take these up. I'm going to crank this up. I'm going to try to get this up past 100. Ooh, that one's loose. 137, 136, 138, 137, 134, 144. Let's see. Ooh, not supposed to do that. It's got to come up a little bit. Got to come up a little bit. Here, I'm not even worried about the number on the tune bot now because I'm so close to getting around the sound that I want. Yeah, now these are in the 170s. So it was like, these were like 120s, 140s, I think. Now 170s. The math adds up. Those sound fantastic together. Okay, let's put her up. Sound is what matters the most. Since these already have a ring on them, this one does and this one does, I probably won't need any additional muting. I wish I had my ride. Love my ride. Let's put the ring. It wasn't that one, was it? No, there's no way. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to leave the ring there. Like a weird fizzle. I'm guessing that's the ring. Good. I like it. I'm going to leave it there. Oh, let's leave this off. Because ultimately, these are going to continue stretching. But I'm very, very happy with these heads. I'm pretty stoked, guys. All right, the final two. These are the ones where, this is the one that really matters the most. The 8 and the 10. Oops, I forgot I had a snare mic clipped on here. We're going to leave that there. I'm sure there's some audio guys, if they saw that, would be very upset with me, but I'll clip it back on right away, I promise. All right. This was just a random clear Gretsch head, so definitely I'm going to be stoked to hear this guy with the new attack head. And again, the 8 and the 10 are the ones I wanted single ply because I like to fiddle around musically with the two highest toms much more than the rest of them. So far, everything I've been playing has been more metal stuff. You know, just heavier, like just heavy stuff. Just, you know, I like that. I like the deep toms, and the clearly, you know, I love my double bass. But for these ones, I even get into like Latin stuff with the two high toms. Stuff that's more musical, stuff that's more moody, stuff that's more emotional, if you will. And if you won't, that's fine too. So these ones really gotta sound good. Actually, let me grab that first. So. Oh. Which of these do you think is the 8 and which one do you think is the 10? I'm gonna guess this is the 10. Let's see. Ooh, it's gotta be because it fits the box. Again, you know, some drummers know the box has to feel good. I tend not to talk smack about drum companies. Certainly they won't mind if I talk smack about their box. The Remo boxes are weak. The Evans boxes are stronger. And I like these boxes. All right, so this one's singing. Again, it's a 1-ply. This is a good sign. Because this tom is going to sing for me, which is what I want for my two high toms. So, big shout out again to Attack Drumheads for hooking up the Drumming for All program with new heads for our live stream. That is why they are going to get the lion's share of our promotions during the live stream, because I have just been so happy with them. Okay, so old head off. Let's see this one. So I can show you on my chair when I'm taking a hoop completely off. Leave the tension rods on, put it on a flat surface, and as it goes on, give it a spin, and all the tension rods will stay kind of locked in place. You don't want tension rods flying around. Let's put this on. Whoops. So I can see. Again, sometimes I care about where the logo is, sometimes I don't. This time I'm feeling it. Now the logo is exactly where I want it. Right at the top. Grab my hoop. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a new drum where the tension rods go, but if it's an old drum, I highly recommend you make sure you put the same tension rod back in the same lug. If somebody wants to explain to me, I guess it's because the drum warps. I've just always noticed that with older drums, oops, I'm going the wrong way. Drums that have seen some action, different weather, different temperatures. Maybe you left it sitting in your car once, and the wood warped. Doesn't the lugs? Sorry, the tension rods seem to always want to go in the same spot. This would be the perfect time to have the Ratchet Key, the Firefly by Revolution Drums, because this process would be made so much easier if you could go round, ratchet back, go back. Revolution Drums sent us a Firefly, but because we are the Drumming for All program, we raffled off the Firefly, the drum dampers, everything they sent us, we raffled it off, because that's what we do here at Drumming for All. We raffle off the gear, give incentive to people to donate. People win great drum gear, we get their donation money, and we pay the teachers to teach kids all around the world that can't afford lessons. May have over tightened there, but it is the high time after all. Let's go around. Much like when you're in the garden, and you got to talk to your seeds, got to talk to your drum head, tell it you love it. Give it a good stretch. Good. Okay. Let's see. Already singing. That was finger tight. And it's already singing. Oh, I might want to just leave it like that. Dude, should I just leave it like that? I don't even know. Alright, let's check the frequency on the bottom. Trusty TuneBot. So those are all in like the 350 range. That might be a little high actually. But maybe that's why it's singing already, because the bottom head is vibrating so feverishly, fervently. Dude, I might just leave it like that, man. Because this is the ProFlex, it doesn't have that additional ring, like the tone, what is it called? Tone Ridge. Still memorizing some of the names of attack heads. So it doesn't have that ring, so I might add a ring if I have it. I'm sure I got one. All right, let's check it. I'm just going to leave it. They're all relatively even. In like the 200 range, and it's clearly singing. I would want it a little muted to kill that overtone. A little bit of the overtone. We want it to sing. Now I'll give you guys a little taste of the kind of stuff I like to do with these ones. Kill that overtone just a hair. Just a hair. I don't think any of these are gonna fit. Nope. I thought I had a 10. That's not a 12. Thought I had a 10. Guess not. I'm gonna have to reach out to Revolution Drums and buy some, even just for myself, just buy some drum dampers. This thing is all gross. I don't even have that. This might be too much. No, it's okay. The bottom's too tight. Another cool thing about the TuneBot is that if you're using the TuneBot, you know what the drum heads are tuned to, and so you have a better sense of finding the problem. Like the bottom head is tuned up in like the 350 range. I'm sorry, the bottom head is in the 350 range, and the top head, I like that at like the 210. So the bottom's got to come down. I think it's just too pingy on the bottom. Something's up with that. Let's check again. Sorry, maybe I went too far on the bottom. Look at this. I like it. All right, last one, the 8. I don't want to have to use the moon gels. I don't like the moon gels. The only dampers I've ever liked were the Revolution drum dampers, which I liked a lot. But of course, I got them and I raffled them, because that's what we do. Drumming for All gets our donors awesome drum gear. Who won the dampers? She won the dampers, the Firefly key, the bag, all in one raffle. So she was very happy with those. Look at this cute little 8-incher. My little baby. Who's your little baby? I don't think anybody's watching, so it doesn't matter how I sweet talk you. Firefly key would be very, very helpful here. do the twist. Tension rods don't go anywhere. And now it's time for the 8-inch. Also a 1-ply. I believe the gentleman's name was Jim, who I spoke to at Attack for a while. And I told him I needed, okay, so this is the ProFlex. So the 8 and the 10 are the ProFlex 1-ply. They are coated, so it is a little bit thicker. Okay, good. I don't think I even need to check this one. Anybody notice that tuning the small heads is easier because the head is smaller and you can maneuver it, but you can never get your fingers in there? So it's like a trade-off. The ratchet key would be so very helpful right now. So I'm just going to crank this guy up. Bet you the bottom head on this one's going to be too low. Or too high, sorry. So, bottom head. 3. Right around 300. I'm just going to go ahead and crank this guy down a little bit on the bottom. I want these frequencies to be closer together, top and bottom. Much better. In the 230s, and then our top head. On the top here. I don't think I even need the tune bot for this part. Let's just go up. Ooh, those sound good together. Of course, they have to because they're right next to each other on the kit. I mean, it's good musically, but I want them a little bit more offset. I might have to tune this one up. These sound great together. Super happy with the high one. That's got to fiddle with that for sure. That sounds good. Maybe this one does need. tom that's going to need the most love. That one's singing. That one's thick. That one's boomy. And that one's a cannon. Whew! Alright, so overall, thank God for attack drum heads. These sound great. And I'm gonna figure out why my high tom, it's just not there. It's missing something. That guy sounds good. I hear it rattling my speakers behind me. Let's turn that off. That one's off. It's just not there. Something's up. All right. So let's leave it at that. Please join us August 21st, which is a Sunday at 10 a.m. for the 12-hour live stream. I'm going to be playing drums for 12 hours straight, hence the need for new drum heads. And again, big shout out to Attack for the new heads. Big shout out to SALUDA. If you want to buy Attack drum heads, the place that I would recommend you go is to the SALUDA website, drumgearonline.com. And you can buy Attack drum heads. And you go to the Attack website, and there's a phone number, and you can call them up and ask them a million questions just like I did. Tell them what kind of sound you're looking for. Tell them what you want, and they're going to answer your questions. Good luck getting that from Evans or Remo. Obviously, those are big, the big names. That's what you buy when you go to Guitar Center or whatever. So I can imagine they're not just readily going to chat with you on the phone. But the companies that I use, which is why this Mapex drum set is not long for this world, the companies that I use are the ones that I can talk to on the phone and actually chat with and ask questions to. The Trick double pedal, I was chatting on the phone with Trick for a while about the Dominators. So almost every piece of gear that I use is with a company that is going to answer the phone when I call them. That's what I like. All right, so see you guys in the live stream. Have a good one.